Hello my YouTube friends and my subscribers. It's just me today. Brian is working and I thought I'd pop in to talk about my quitting smoking journey. We just got back from Vegas a couple of days ago. We went last Sunday got home on Wednesday, and today is Saturday. We went with two of our friends, and one friend of ours smokes. Let me just tell you, our friend who smokes was so supportive and so helpful. I didn't see him smoke. The only time I saw him smoke was when I, looked for him. He would always excuse himself from the table, never made a big deal of it. I didn't even realize he was smoking. He came back, I didn't realize it. So kudos to him for helping me out. Then, as far as the other people in Vegas, you walk into a casino and right away you can smell the smoke. And I thought, oh, this might be a little trouble for me. And it's 3 years now since I've had a cigarette, and 1 full year that I've been without a vape. So it just got me thinking that you can never ever let your guard down. And I just want to reinforce, because when you first start smoking, you think to yourself, oh, when is this ever going to end? When is the cravings ever going to go away? People would always ask that. I would ask that myself. And the answer for me was, I would say, do they ever go away? No, they never go away. But don't let that scare you, and don't let that intimidate you. If anybody's out there who's just starting to quit smoking now, don't let that intimidate you. Let me explain what I mean by the cravings never go away. You never stop thinking of them. It's the amount of control that you allow it to have fades over time. And now it's really just a fleeting thought that comes into your head. But I'm able to say to myself, okay, here it is, and let it go. And that took, a year. And I said to myself when I was going through this process, I said, I'm not going to worry. I'm just going to give myself a full year to get it all out of my system. And if I crave, then I'm just going to suffer through it. This was in the beginning. I'm going to give myself a full year. And now I have a full year. And I went to Vegas. I was around other people, strangers, smoking. When I'd be at a table playing games, lady next to me was smoking away. And I just tossed it up to, this is what I have to put up with, because the need for my gambling and the need for me to be around smoke, or not be around smoke, which was stronger, and the need for me to gamble was stronger. So I just sucked it up, and I just leaned back, and I just let her smoke, and, for 7 minutes every 20 minutes, it was an issue. And again, I want to just reinforce to all you new quitters out there, I don't want you to think that, you have to live with this the rest of your life. As the time goes by, it really, really does get lesser and lesser and lesser and lesser. Even though the thoughts still may come to you, you can definitely handle it. And that's how it was with me in Vegas. Even though I was surrounded by the smell of smoke, by the strangers and the other gamblers there, it was fine. I would prefer not to be around it, and they did have sections of smoke-free areas of the casino, but you would go in there and you can still smell it. So the smell of smoke was throughout the entire downstairs. Upstairs in the room, we didn't smell it at all, but down our hallway, the smell of paint, they must have just painted, was overpowering. Take the next step. Think about what the ramifications would be if you did smoke. And I would say to myself, if I did smoke, I would be right back to square one. Maybe not right away, but in a matter of weeks, because it's happened before. When I would stop in the past, I would have one. I said, I'm just going to have one. It's never just one, and you know that as well. It is never just one. One always leads you right back to full-time smoking. And that is something I absolutely refuse to do. And once I did that, it was like a revelation, maybe, that I said to myself, never again will I have to be in that disgusting, smelly place of being the addictive smoker. That's the way I have to think of it. I have to be repulsed by it in order to step away from it. And that's what you need to do. You need to get sickened by it. You need to think, how could I ever have put that filthy, disgusting cigarette into my mouth and inhale that into my lungs and let it fill my lungs and blow out that disgusting, smelly smoke. That's what I had to do. People are saying, vaping is not good for you, vaping is worse than smoking. I don't really know the truth about that. I just know what helped me. I think that my breathing, though, has gotten worse because of the vaping, but that also could be from COVID. So I don't know. All I know is that I never had to touch another cigarette again because I used the Juul. The Juul really took away every bit of craving that I had for an actual cigarette. So I was happy about that, and so I Juuled for 2 years, and then it was like, after a while I realized I had that Juul pen in my hand constantly, and I was constantly hitting it, constantly hitting it, one after another, and I realized how much nicotine I'm putting into my body, and how much of that unknown vapor I'm putting into my lungs. So that's when I decided, and my breathing also was labored. Going up downstairs little by little was getting worse and worse. And you would think that stopping smoking would get better, but it wasn't. It was getting worse. So that led me to believe that vaping is not what it's cut out to do. I just know that vaping allowed me to stop smoking cigarettes. So now my task at hand was to stop vaping. So now I turned it from stopping smoking to stopping vaping. I was very worried about if it was going to be harder to stop vaping than it was to stop smoking. And for me, stopping smoking was not hard at all, only because I had the crutch of the vape. So I still was getting nicotine into my body. I was still getting the sensation of sucking down something into my lungs and filling my lungs with what appeared to be smoke, but it was vapor. But I was thinking, now cutting out nicotine out of my life, I was putting so much nicotine into my body that I was afraid that it was going to be very difficult to stop. And I was worried that it was going to be even harder for when I would stop smoking. I stopped, and then a month later, I got the coronavirus. So I was up in bed 5-6 days of just being in bed, really not doing anything. And I realized I wasn't using the patch, I wasn't using the lozenge. I realized that I just went 5 days without any nicotine. So that's when I decided, all right, that's it. Because the crutch that I used when I stopped vaping, I did it for a month. It was a month prior to this. I used the patch and I used the lozenge, the 4%. And that was really strong. So I was going to go down to the 2%, but I never got a chance because then I got sick and then I wasn't doing anything. And then once I started to get better, I'm still out of breath. I'm still out of breath to this day. I'm attributing that to my weight gain. Because also, just backtracking a little bit, when I stopped vaping, I allowed myself to eat whatever I wanted. I said to myself, I'm just going to eat whatever I want. Anytime I got a craving, I'm going to fill my mouth with chocolate cream pie or spaghetti and meatballs or whatever it is. I'm not going to deny myself any food flavor, and this is, the result of it. 50 or 60 pounds that I've gained since my quitting smoking. I read The Easy Way to Stop Smoking, and it was a huge help. But in that book, Alan Carr talks about you don't need any aids to quit smoking. It's not willpower, it's just the decision not to smoke again. And he gives you excellent tips on what to think about. And he did encourage me via the book to stop smoking. I read his book over and over and over, and anytime I had a difficult period, I would pick the book up again and read different sections of it. This time, it's like I got fed up with it. With the coronavirus, everything going on, and the whole world was upside down. I just got sick and tired of it. And I said to myself, if not now, when? So that was my saving grace. So I decided that I'm just going to make up my own rules. And that's exactly what I did, and I was successful. And I used the book, I read the book, I used the patch, and I used the lozenge. Just use multiple quit smoking aids in order to make yourself successful. Because I made the decision I am not going to vape again. I never want to be put in that position where something is controlling me. Something is making me do something I don't want to do. So once I kicked that to the curb, it was fine. The cravings come back, they probably once a day, or maybe twice a day. I think about, a couple of things. One, I think, I'm going to go and vape. I think I immediately go to vape. I don't even think of smoking anymore. The smoking, the smell, it's like I'm so over that. But I do think about, I can go out and vape now. And I thought, wait a minute, I don't do that. So even after a full year, I'm talking about a split second, a split second of, I'm going to go vape. And I thought, wait a minute, I don't do that. And then I have to make a conscious decision to say, isn't that great? Isn't that great that I don't need to go outside and vape on the jewel pen, infect my lungs with we don't know what? Isn't that great that I don't need to do that? By the time I say all that to myself, the feeling is gone. And even during this video, I've had the thought of, I can really use, something to calm my nerves or something. And then I realized, wait a minute, no, it's all been a big lie. Nicotine does not calm your nerves. Nicotine only makes your nerves worse. So all those nicotine addictive thoughts are designed to keep you hooked. And I refuse to go along with that anymore. I'm in charge, and that's what you need to do. You need to be the one in charge and not be afraid. Don't be afraid that, it's never going to leave me. That doesn't matter. It will get 100, 1,000 times easier as the days go on. And if you think of it, so what? You think of other things every day. You think of, maybe I want that, extra ice cream. Now I won't have it. Or maybe I want that, maybe I want to go, to the store and buy that sweater, for $300. And you think, I don't want to do that. You're having those thoughts, and it's fine. So just attribute those, craving thoughts for nicotine, in the same vein. Don't be afraid of it. Welcome it in. Look at it for what it is and say, that's it. I don't need it. And then all of a sudden you realize, wait a minute, okay, it's gone. And then you can go about your life, and then you realize that hours and hours and hours will go by and without thinking of it. The longer you go, the better it is. But don't be afraid. For people that are just starting out, don't be afraid of it. Just throw yourself into it and just be so happy that you're making this incredible decision to free yourself from this nicotine addiction. I am so happy to go out with friends to a restaurant and not have to excuse myself from the dinner table and then come back and be all smelly and stinky. I was so self-conscious of that. I don't need to do that anymore. Even though, I think that I want to do it. I really don't. And that's just my mind playing tricks on me. And I'm stronger than that. And that's why, I know that after time, you get those thoughts, but they're going to be weaker and weaker and weaker. So that's how I look at it. My weight loss journey, I think it was, what did I say, 318, I believe. I said my highest was, and I got on the scale earlier, it is 314. So, I'm down 4 pounds, and that means, in Vegas, where we were eating a lot. But I really do need to lose weight, and I believe once I lose weight, my breathing will get better. So I'm really looking forward to that. So come with me on the journey. some of the videos I put out, maybe you don't want to watch. You don't want to watch us cooking. That's fine. But maybe you want to watch how I talk about how I quit smoking. They'll be, in the title, and you can follow me and come with me on my journey. And please put in some comments about what you're experiencing and what you're afraid of. And I really believe that if you talk about what you're afraid of, it releases it from yourself, and it becomes less important. So share with me your thoughts and your comments, and like and subscribe. It's going to be, a good journey, and come along, and we can have some fun along the way. All right, and if any way you can enlighten me, please write it down, and I promise you I will respond back to all your comments. I promise I'll write back. So go have a great day, and I'll catch you on the flip side. But I'm attributing that to, now I forgot my thought process.